I think what's interesting about someone like you is that if people just hear you speak or just hear how you approach life, it's easy to look at it and judge. How do you not have kids yet, dude? Like, what's wrong with you? Or why aren't you at the march, dude? Like, you're a black man. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
But I think you are living in a way, if other people were more honest, they would probably do the same things, right? Like, you're just truthful. Like, you're just honest about it. Whereas most
Yeah.
people don't, but they wish they could be.
Yeah, and then I guess sometimes I guess it could come off as empathetic's not the word I'm looking. What's the word when you not you come across like maybe you just don't care or something like that.
Oh,
Uh,
apathetic?
yeah, apathetic. I think it's apathetic. Yeah,
Might be wrong.
and I guess maybe it's to a certain point, like like you said, you genuinely care what people think of you, so you do certain things. And I do care what people think of me. Obviously, I want people to like me. It's just like what I said about this episode. I was just like, I'm not nervous about the episode, but I'd like people to actually like to listen
You'd
to
like people to like you, but you're not willing to sacrifice who you are to get that. That's the difference.
Correct.
I want people to like me, and historically, I'm willing to sacrifice who I
Yeah.
am to get that achieved. I think that's the difference. But anyway, keep going.
Yeah. So, but like I don't want it to come across like, I don't care. Like it's like, yeah, like the Black Lives Matter movement, or just anything to support the African American community, whether it's being a big brother. I feel like I want to do that because I feel like it'll be a good opportunity to help young Black men and women in terms of like career development and career growth, and kind of show them how I went about things and help them out, and like maybe they don't have like the same opportunities that I had. There's things like that in my head where I'm like, that would be nice for me to do. And yes, I think it would be not only nice to help some people out, but then I think it would make me feel better too.
Yeah, yeah.
It'll make me be like, okay, I'm like actually doing something. And maybe it's like part going back to like the legacy situation or conversation, because it's like right now it's me and Dina, and when we're gone, we're gone. But then like if we have a child, then I'm like, okay, we can both teach it, everything we know, and grow up, and it'll be this little blend of both, Dina and I, and it'll go into the world and hopefully be um, a positive, good citizen. Um, so it's sort of like just being able to. I feel like I guess the idea of just passing on what you have and your knowledge, and um, to other people to kind of like help improve society.
Yeah, it's just why do you care about helping society?
Because this is a world that we all live in. You wanted to be
No, but that's the Terry answer. Give me the Dave answer, because if that's true, then you're out there marching and you're giving a shitload of your money, like whatever it is that you're doing to help. Like, if you really, you know what I mean?
but I do want to, and I guess you're right. At the end of the day, like I care about myself and like my like circle in my world, and as long as that's good and everyone's happy in that circle, then I'm good. But yeah, I guess like you said, if I battle with like having children in this world, I want them to be able to live in a world that's safe for them, and
Fair enough.
some place where they can grow, and not have to worry about some of the stuff that we had to worry about growing up, and our parents and grandparents. So from that aspect, yeah. But I guess you're right. Like, why do I care about every other people? But I'm not an asshole. I do want other people to like have to have nice lives and not have to worry about certain things. And yeah,
Well, I think it's, and again, it can't help but say this and worry that it comes off sounding negative, and maybe it is, or maybe I'm the asshole for saying whatever. But it's the same principle. I feel like we're like, of course you want society to be better. Of course you want people not to be shot in the streets. Of course you want kids to have a better life and things. Of course you do.
opportunities and things like that.
Of course, but you're not going to sacrifice what makes you feel good for that. And that sounds shitty, but I think so many of us are more naturally closer to that than we admit.
Yeah, but I guess to your point, or not to your point, but what do you mean like sacrifice what makes me feel good? Because the thing is, like, I don't feel like I'm sacrificing what makes me feel good. And like I said, I think it's just a matter of maybe just laziness.
Yeah, but
And yeah,
laziness is a proxy for me. Laziness is a thing because not exerting effort feels good.
yeah, well, that's what I was going to say, and we've had this conversation before, so I know what you're going to say. But you're right. It's just like there's some math that's going on in my head that weighs the benefit of me going out and doing those things versus just saying like, hey, I'm just going to sit here and have some drinks and watch football or something like that, or
Right.
I'm going to go watch TV, or I'm just going to go buy some more sneakers or something like that. Obviously, something goes on in my head that does that math, whether it's subconscious or conscious, that does that. But I do, and like I said, there are times where I'll sit back and think about it, and like I'll see, even for you, like I think about you. You went to the Black Lives Matter march. I think about you when you were, trying to put together the conversations with, our friends who are multicultural to kind of talk about issues and get people's opinions and, kind of just have the conversation. I see people like, Mike Ruiz who put things on social media. I see things like Javier putting things on, social media, bringing attention to certain things. And, I'm not about like doing all that on social media, but I like admire them to an extent because they're like, I feel like they're, you know, bringing attention to some of the things that are going on in this world that I think need to be, attention being brought
All right, I'm gonna say one more dicky douchey thing.
to.
Try and understand the point, and then I'll as we come towards the end, I want to ask a different question. But is that the same equivalent? Is that equivalent to like? It would be awesome to be the shortstop of the Yankees, right? Like that would be fucking amazing. Realistically, I know I'm not going to be the shortstop. It's never going to be my life, but like I can appreciate that would be cool. Is that the equivalent to what you're saying? Like that would be cool to be super involved and into all that stuff.
No,
I
because I feel
appreciate,
like being
you
a
know what I mean?
shortstop too. I feel like what I'm saying is attainable. Being a shortstop for the Yankee is not attainable if you're not athletic enough.
I think you're insulting me, but that's fine.
I'm insulting your shortstop skills. But yeah, like even just to a simple extent, like I don't need to be like, like I said, the next Martin Luther King or anything like that. But like I can go to like, like an event or like a fundraiser or like I said, some sort of
I
like
know, but all of this
simple.
is all of this conversation. There's this thread of like you're making a case that you could do it and should do it, but at the same time you're not. And not obviously you do plenty of stuff, I'm sure, to help people. I know you do. You take care of your family, all sorts of things. So you're not a dick, obviously. You
Yeah.
know, you sound like one. Um, like what is it really that complicated? Like I have this theory that like we do what we want to do. We like to complicate things more, but like sure, there's always a calculation, there's always a cost benefit, there's always some things that are pro con on the list, and we're stating those. But in reality, it's very simple. Like you're not doing it because it's just for you for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Those specific activities don't make sense for you to do.
Yeah, and you're right. It's because it's basically because I'm not making it a priority. Like there's things that that you could be a priority. Like for instance, if you ask me like, okay, if you want to go get involved, like what would you do? And you know what? I wouldn't know the answer to that. But if you
Well,
ask me like, oh, what sneakers are coming out for the next couple of weeks, I could tell you every single one.
well, so here's the question. Would you be better off, however you want to define better off, and I don't even know how we define that, if you forced yourself to be more disingenuous or at least feel that way in moments like this where your natural inclination is like it's just not a priority for me, if you allowed the external influences to make you be like, you know what, I'm going to go to that fucking march tomorrow because even though I don't want to, it's not a priority, I'm going to do it. Like is that better than what you're doing now, or is it worse or
No, I
the
just think
same?